This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library.
Enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price that you can get Truefire All Access for.
Okay, so last night I had a gig at Regular Haunt, the Ship Inn in Lyme Regis, and I was playing with my buddy Jake, and Matt on drums, Jolise on bass. You know, a good fun gig. I think a few of us were a little tired, but you know, you play through it. And I decided I'd take along the Nacho. This is one of the few gigs that I do at this point which are like solely kind of guitar based. It's a 2-guitar gig, as you'll see. But I kind of did some of the maths on this, and it kind of left me coming away from the gig thinking, yes, I really like playing this guitar and stuff like that, but at the same time it does feel a little bit silly. So it's just a video about like that. So we got paid £100 each for that gig, and this guitar, like if you were to buy one new, I think is something like €6,800, and then, you know, VAT and stuff like that. I bought this one used from Coda Music, so basically I did the math on it. It's about like 60 pub gigs worth of money in this sort of thing. Now I'll flash up what I've actually done this year in terms of gigs, because I don't think it's as much as 60, and maybe 40 or 50. Now luckily for me, like, quite a lot of the gigs are better paid than that, and I would say my normal sort of average kind of gig fee might be between 200 and 300 at this point, if you're doing like a wedding gig, if you know what I mean. But what feels kind of silly about it, so first of all, I guess the positives, I think it sounds good, and when I'm playing it, when I was playing it for a longer time at home, like in the first month that I got it, I think I kind of overdid it, and the V-neck, I do feel like didn't agree with my hands over that period of time when it became sort of like my main guitar for a while. I've since had to sort of put it back in its stable, so to speak, and now it sort of is a guitar that I'll play occasionally, but it's not a guitar that I would necessarily practice on. You know, if I had a gig coming up and I had to learn a bunch of tunes, it's definitely not a guitar I'd pick up for that. It's more a thing that I might play, like if I wanted to do a demo of something and it felt appropriate to have like a fairly authentic Blackguard looking thing. So yes, on an actual gig, I really like the way this neck sort of, I think it slows me down a bit. You know, maybe that was just tiredness, but it's almost like you can play super fast on it if you want to, and that's the other thing that I at first noticed about the V-neck, is that it doesn't impede technique whilst you're playing it, in my opinion. Like, it feels pretty sleek to play, and it's like I can do my normal stuff on it, But, you know, just over time, because of that different position of the thumb, it's kind of like doing way different things to your hands. Now, I think I probably have to slowly reintroduce it and not have it be like a all-in type thing going forward if I was to kind of want this to be like a more regular part of what's going on. What's going on? Here's a solo from What's Going On. Anyway, so yes, that's the positive side of it, as well as like I think the pickups suit me quite nicely. They're set really quite low, and they're fairly low output, and the knock-on effect of that is kind of like it's quite a warm sounding Tele, and also there's like a little bit more bloom to it, I think, because it's like a bit more of a rolled off note than, you know, certainly this custom shop Tele has like way more sort of sparkle and jangle to it, partly I think because the pickups are closer to the strings, but also I guess partly because they might be higher output.
What's going on?
So what doesn't feel right about this though? Oh yeah, I forgot that I tuned down to E flat to play Boys Are Back in Town. I do really like the sort of, I don't know, that contrast between the that hollowed out neck. But yeah, you know, showing up to a £100 gig with a £6,000 guitar feels like putting a cinema in a shit house. You know what I mean? It just feels a little bit like daft. And I could honestly say as well, when I'm actually playing the guitar and on the gig, in particular, this little partscaster that was put together by my buddy John Martin from across the road, like, does have certain qualities to it which, you know, this has got like a standard C-neck that feels super comfortable. It's not as much of like although it's not too bad actually, the relic job on this. My buddy Kevin over in Arizona, I think he's still living in Arizona, actually put together, inspired from the Nacho experiment, his own partscaster. So that to me would be, I think, the route that I might go down were I to do this sort of thing again, where it's like, instead of having like a guitar which is super like appropriate, I think, for certain stages of your life, and if it's like, okay, like I need to condense like this collection down, I want just one instrument that it could do like some really classic things, looks pretty, and basically enables you to get rid of a bunch of gear. Like, I see like the Nacho as a great idea for that, but as like a working man's guitar, I don't necessarily think that's the most it's a stupid thing saying it, the most appropriate guitar for that, because you're going to be taking it into situations where it's like a Murphy Lab, right, where it's like, yes, you could gig these things, and you know, I have, and I know Ed from Wales Guitar Magazine gigs a Nacho, takes them to wedding gigs, as well as some really nice vintage like Gibsons. I think you just have to like be more careful with them than other guitars, whereas I think for me also like the fee of the gig starts to like weigh on my mind when I start to think about, well, like, is this guitar ever gonna pay for itself, that sort of thing. But I'm glad I took it to that gig, because it's kind of like just a different. It's obviously my only guitar with a V-neck. And I've had some more chances to play my buddy Jake's Nacho, which was initially what started it. And I do think that I like this one about the same as his now, so that's kind of been a nice little thing. But yes, putting, you know, like £1,000 into a partscaster, I think you get most of the way to there and have a guitar that you feel comfortable to gig.
Daddy.
Yeah?
I've got some fairies out to show you.
Oh, you want to see this guitar? What do you think of it? What colour's this?
Orange.
Orange? Ooh, do you like the sound of it? No. Not a huge fan. Can you say Nacho?
Disgusting.
Disgusting. You don't like it? Unbelievable. Right.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. Right. See you later. Right, I need to turn that camera off.